Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, November 26, 2023, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Inside our mind, there are memories piled upon memories, beliefs within beliefs, all stacked to infinity. For every new thought that is forming right now, there are a dozen new thoughts soon to follow. Just sit down on some lazy Sunday afternoon, like today, to spiritually investigate who you really are. And you'll find you can ascend and descend forever within the deepest realms of your very soul. However, what is most fascinating inside of this infinite mystery is in the relationship that's manifesting between our inner world and our outer universe. It behaves something like a perpetual reflection in a mirror. Whatever is happening within our inner world is attracting, magnetizing, and manifesting what we are experiencing in our outer world. Now, the interesting thing about that is that we don't know. We're not aware. Just what I shared, the majority of us don't know that. So we have all of these happenings within our inner world. And all the things within us, the things that we talk to ourselves about, the things that we contemplate, the things that we shove in the back of the closet, are all attracting things in our outer world. That's real interesting, isn't it? So let's say that your internal perspective is, let's just say, bumpy. How you view things, what you're looking at things, and what your responses are. A lot of the times we don't share that with others. We keep it to ourselves. But everything that you, any of us, are generating within us, it's attracting what's outside of us. For example, if I'm in a good mood today, all I see are happy, smiling faces wherever I go. Have you ever done that? Yeah. Or have you ever noticed it? Maybe you haven't. And being in that energetic field of feeling good, happy, grateful, an amazing opportunity seem to effortlessly float into your life. Then, if you fall down into an emotional dumpster, which doesn't take much for us, it could be anything that triggers it. And the next thing you know, we're in the bottom of the well. So you say you fall down an emotional dumpster. The face of every person has nothing but gloom and doom smeared all over it. And it feels like your entire life is about to collapse. And whatever we are feeling and feeding into emotionally on the inside is somehow always materializing into whatever we see, experience, and physically attract in our outer world. It isn't even debatable. Not even to begin with, it's not debatable. Another example of how the infinite reflection is showing up in our lives is how it manifests in our relationship with others. The more love, compassion, and acceptance we have for ourselves, the easier it is to have compassion and love and acceptance for others. Yeah, well, people say, well, yeah, okay. Or it's always that one thing which we absolutely dislike and cannot stand about the other person, which is reflecting some part inside ourselves that we don't want to own, don't care to own, or accept it. So our inner world is an extension of our outer universe. And the outer world is an extension of our inner universe. This means that life extends into infinity in every direction and dimension. Our inner and outer universes are never, ever separate. Even though our physical body appears to be a completely isolated entity, it is not. We live in one sacred ocean of energy, all of us. There simply is just one universe that extends for infinity into other realms and all directions. That's why the universes are linked. You go from one universe to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. It's unending. We contain the wet and salty qualities of the entire ocean, and yet are just a single drop in it. The oceanic waves are always moving us, flowing through us, as us. Now, one essential problem that most people are having with this life is that they are not reaching deep enough inside themselves to reconnect with their actual living, breathing, infinite spiritual essence. Our spiritual nature is a real thing. It is our most basic reality. It is what keeps our hearts beating, our breathing, and our life force moving through us in every moment of existence. We don't have to breathe. Our body does it for us. The same as with our spiritual essence. It is living and creating through our physical body, unfolding its essential karmic programming with this great cosmic playground. That's what this planet is. It's this huge playground. And we come into this playground. And then we lay out things that we want, and we create 24/7. So, however you are, is what you're going to be. You get irritable, angry, stressed, fed up, then you will attract all of those little pieces into your life. And it is a challenge, but here's the awareness. When your awareness is there, and you've come to that understanding, then you can say to yourself, I'm not going to do this. Even when it hits you right in that moment, right? It could be anything. It could be something that you wandered off in the past about and kind of rekindled it in some way, which then now you're very upset and irritated with yourself. And then all this stuff starts coming in. And you say to yourself, why is all this coming in here? And then you stop yourself and say, oh, okay. I brought it in. You brought it in. Unfortunately, for many of us on this planet, we don't know any of that. Zero. Nada. We focus on out there, and that's pretty much it. People who think they are the doer are also the sufferer. Maharishi. A lot of people say, I know me, I know, I go deep within and everything. But it's through the ego mind that they're making this statement in most cases. Obviously, none of us are all the way there yet. So we are affected in energetic motion. We're affected. We're part of the energy. It just depends on how we manage it. And since we've had both sides of the fence, the good, the bad, and we at least are we're under the comprehension and understanding, deeply understanding, that we're the ones that attract the way our lives are. That's it. Now, many of us will argue with ourselves about that. Excuse me. We will argue about that with ourselves. There's no way I would do that or create that in my life. Right? Haven't you done that before? You have a conversation with yourself. There's no way I would have brought that into my life. So you kind of, it's protecting the ego type in that moment where you're defending the ego. And then you kind of stop yourself and say, but that's what I've done. And then you have the childlike curiosity and say, why have I done that? Now, you're not persecuting yourself. You're gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. But you're curious. And you want to know because you're curious. Just like a child's curious, right? But you would like to know why. So it could be anything. There's some catalyst that sets you off. Especially around this time of year, the stress factors, unfortunately, are through the roof. And then when you add everything else, they're in outer space. So knowing this, we let go. We let go of all these things that we don't need. Frustrations, fear, anxiety, stress. We embrace love, tenderness, kindness, tranquility, benevolence, bliss. And then these other things that come in that we really do know. You say to yourself, now I go there, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to get upset. Now, since I've been that direction before, I don't care to do that again. And you know that real pulling inside you when you're being really pulled into anger, frustration, irritation. You ever had that? We all have. None of us are exempt from it. It's like overwhelming pull to get upset or angry with somebody. That's the part of it. That's the challenge. But it also helps us begin to know ourselves more, when those instances come in, is I don't care to do this. I'm not going to do it. And it will fade right away on the spot. It will disintegrate. Not to say that it's permanent, because the ego mind will bring in other thoughts and circumstances and situations that we materialize for ourselves that will do it again. And I really don't believe that the majority of us, our natural state is not conflict. It isn't conflict. Our natural state is peace, tranquility, balance. And with all the disruptive stuff, more and more people are being affected because they're creating the very thing that they're saying, I don't really care to have any of it. They don't care to have it. But most people will say they don't want to have it. They don't want this, they don't want this, they don't want this, they don't want that. And they get it. It's like, and I think we're, as a people, more and more of us at least are moving into that direction of saying, I can master my thoughts. I can master the ego mind. This isn't an arrogant ego mind thing because you're not there. You're in the now and the heart mind. And you say to yourself, does it really do me any good to get angry and upset or conflicting with situations that I materialize in my life? No, it doesn't. So slowly but surely, we begin to recognize these thoughts, irritations, anxieties, and they're all self-engineered. And then we start to identify the fact that we know this. That you'll say to yourself, I know I'm doing this. Now, what am I going to do to shift that energy into a positive direction for me in my life? What are you going to do? And a lot of people don't know how. They just don't know how. They don't have the knowledge. You know how frustrating that is. They would like to do something in the opposite direction of being cantankerous, irritated, frustrated, pessimistic, cynic. But they don't know how. And it's so simple because you focus on, you get in a very comfortable position and you're in a very statue still position and you listen to your breath. Space between heartbeats. That's meditation in its purest form, with none of all the other gobbledygook thrown on it. And that's what you focus on. And you remind yourself, I only have now. I don't have tomorrow. I don't have yesterday. I have now. So I focus on the now, moment to moment. Now, see, when you do that, and it cuts out, it eliminates the ego mind. It eliminates your mind chatter. 60,000 plus thoughts a day come in. It eliminates all that. Worry, stress, fear, anxiety, it's gone. But as soon as you go into yesterday or tomorrow, it's back. All of it's back. Front line and center. And then we begin to learn about ourselves and start to know that suffering happens only when the mind gets in the way. When we become overly focused on thoughts and material things that make us feel limited or time-bound, we start believing we only have limited options, right? The realm of the infinite fades into the background of the finite. The realm of the infinite fades into the background of the finite. And we start thinking everyone is living in a very small, contracted world. When we only focus on our needs, we forget how to connect with the soul of others. If we are always thinking about money and more material possessions, we cannot see or feel the infinite reality that is beneath it all. How many of us on this planet, I would say the majority, of the rat race is trapped in thinking about time-bound appointments, which causes consciousness to squeeze itself into a tiny temporal box, let's say 4:30 p.m. With this deadline coming, we just don't have the time to feel what eternity is like. And when we only live in a limited tick-tock, 24-hour clock world that is consumed with resources around money and material items, we instantly start feeling disconnected from the infinite eternal beings we actually are. This addictive dwelling of the mind on what is not infinite or eternal is what makes us feel spiritually disconnected from every living being on this planet today. Now, why were we, we were all given these limited, time-bound physical bodies. The reason that is that then we could acquire a contrasting perspective and experience ourselves as the infinite, eternal beings we actually are. We have the capability to create, manifest, and experience anything we desire. That means both ends. We are all the children of a great universal consciousness, a pure consciousness, God, that is impregnated with unlimited potentiality. If all this talk about the infinite is expanding your mind too much to handle today, just remember that your inner world is always impacting and manifesting something in your outer world. Every thought you believe to be true is what is creating your reality. We are these magical beings that actually move energy on a consistent basis. We are moving energy, and we are literally creating that energy into what we think. And it becomes our reality every moment to moment. And in order for us to focus on the now, we go into meditation. We leave the mind and ego alone so that we can master it. It's the only way. This is so you can watch it, you can master it. You start identifying the type of thoughts that you're influenced by, that you believe are your thoughts, and are actually ego minds. You start understanding things. So, here comes an ego mind thought, and you identify it. You say, not interested in that. Or a response, reaction. And you say, I'm not interested in that. That's not something I want to embrace. So I don't care to interact with it. You'd be amazed on what happens. It's absolutely phenomenal. We talk a lot about this because this is the center of our dilemma. This is the why we have not entered a five-dimensional existence, because we don't know who and what we are. We believe that we are time-bound, limited beings. Yet we're so powerful, we create everything in our life. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to start figuring out to be aware of our innermost thoughts. And yet, somehow, remain non-attached. Because our thoughts are not who we are. They're not who we truly are. We are an eternal, infinite consciousness who is beyond form and time. We are pure awareness, reflecting back on itself in this physical universe of space and time. Highly recommended to let go of thoughts that were cycling in your mind yesterday and ideas about the way life should turn out for you tomorrow. You got to let go of those. That's where we get mucked up. Let go of the thoughts that you're cycling in your mind yesterday and ideas about the way life should turn out for you tomorrow. Be here now. Now is the moment of power. Now is where enlightenment is discovered. For physically, you are forever forced to exist in this present moment. Your present awareness is always being generated from this present moment. Know this and live and breathe within this knowing. Know this and live and breathe within this knowing. If you want your life truly, truly to be smoother, fuller, and more in touch with utter bliss, what do? Only one thing. Get in touch with your eternal essence. Let go of any limiting thoughts that you have and drop into the knowingness. Let you know this. It's not superficial. It is heart-minded. You know this. That you are an infinite soul who will never, ever die. Now, if you crave for some secure life that is easy and light, give that experience to yourself on the inner world within first. You got to, you do it with yourself first. Find out how to soothe yourself emotionally, giving deep, robust, tingling sensations to every corner of your body, mind, and spirit. The great experience of divinity is always available and ready to take you into the higher dimensions. Our greatest life is ready for us here now. So you open yourself up and welcome it in. Open arms, heart wide open. Welcome it in. You will find the infinite within the finite. Trust the process. Breathe it in and enjoy every breath you are given. We know that there are many great truths in our universe, as there are stars in the sky. And yet, like the billions of trillions of stars that exist, not all truths are created equal. This universe is not just made of black and white colors. If you look close, you're going to see, you get out there into outer space, you're going to see colors that you've never seen before, ever. Blow your socks off. You'll be breathless when you gaze upon the God that you are. And that's in the solar system, interstellar, planetary bodies, endless. We live in a highly, highly, highly diverse, intelligent system which contains various degrees of truth. And so not every truth will impact us the exact same way. The bigger a truth is, the more it will expand our reality. And the smaller a truth is, the more it will shrink and contract our experience of this life. The good news is that you don't have to decide what is a big truth and what is a small truth. Your physical body will let you know. For your heart is the best guide for seeing how expansive or contracted a truth actually is. Whenever we discover a larger, more profound truth in this life, then a miracle happens. Everything that once felt hard, heavy, and stuck inside us suddenly becomes exalted and liberated. We definitely do feel lighter than air and are filled with a natural, spontaneous joy inside which flows as freely as the wind. The mind stops thinking, and we experience our own source of consciousness. From here, we see life from a much more expanded perspective. And it can happen within milliseconds. And you hear me quote this quite often from A Course in Miracles. It simply states that which is real cannot be threatened. That which is unreal does not exist. Now, it might take several months, several weeks, or who knows, to spiritually digest this enormous truth and root it throughout our lives. You can contemplate just on that. That which is real cannot be threatened, and that which is unreal does not exist. Now, when you think about it, your childlike curiosity, what is it that feels threatened inside you? What is this personality, self, ego, or that thing you call you, which defends itself when feeling attacked or provoked? What is this little you who has a need to be on guard and protect itself, trying to assert itself and attempting to achieve something important or worthwhile with their life? And then, who is this overly strong, confident, all-important you who compensates for the super small, unimportant you? It's the one who has been attempting to make your life secure by feeling self-important, accomplished, met in deep embrace by their beloved, and all the while is feeling a deep and constant separation from God. Good news is, in all this, is that who we truly are has nothing to do with who and what we think we are. Whatever we may think of and conceive of about ourselves with the mind can only be a thought. And this little thought is too small to be who or what we are. Who and what we really are is beyond any spiritual understanding of the mind in this moment. And only this moment we can find what is actually real. And this real thing is the only thing that liberates us, binds us at the same time. That which is real, the real you, does not change. And this essence is what remains the same for all eternity and beyond. Perhaps the most pivotal, enlightening truth one may discover is understanding how all identification with the ego is based in some form of fear. If we are not experiencing a state of oneness, unity, love, connection, relaxation, bliss, we are hanging out in some quality or version of fear. That's real important to understand. If we are not experiencing a state of oneness, unity, love, connection, relaxation, and bliss, we are hanging out in some quality or version of fear. The ego is clinging to some thought or a process of thoughts which believes deep down that it is not one with the divine. It thinks it is not loved, accepted, embraced, or enlightened. The more creative you become, the more godly you become, when your creativity comes to a climax, when each moment of your life is filled with creativity, you live in God. Also, enlightenment is simply realizing again and again and again how to remain non-identified with one's ego. The enlightened state is a pure seeing, understanding how the ego is the greatest illusion of them all. To intimately know and become identified with the real self, that which cannot be threatened, is the only true path to total freedom there is. All other paths lead to some form of suffering. It requires no basic standard of ethics, codes of spirituality, or religious background needed to arrive. You simply experience yourself as the essence of consciousness that you naturally are. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. Easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Take 3 minutes sometime today to imagine all around you are divine beings of light. They are surrounding you with love, empowering thoughts and absolute prosperity in every form. Breathe deeply for these precious minutes and feel these powerful beings are bathing you in their glorious divine light of love. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here Monday, November 27, 2023, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, and purest of the purest purest. Eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening within you or outside of you.